We welcome you to the campus of Darien High School for DAF Media's first ever live stream of Varsity Cross Country. Today, Darien is in a tri-meet against the West Hill Vikings, the Wilton Warriors, and a Bridgeport co-op team. Pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Braden Shank, joined alongside me, Chris Fallon. And Chris, what do you think we should expect out of this meet today?
I think it can be a very good meet, especially for Darien. It's our home course. We've been working here for a while. We were actually 3-0 here last season in our 5-0 season. So I'm hoping it could be a pretty good meet, and hopefully we can expect some good finishes out of our top guys.
So there are four teams here, as we mentioned: Darien, West Hill, Wilton, and a Bridgeport co-op team consisting of athletes from Bridgeport Central, Bassick, and I believe Harding High School. Bridgeport, kind of a late add to the mix, wasn't originally on the schedule, but we did find out they are here today. So, Chris, do you want to explain kind of how the records and scoring will work in this meet?
Yeah, so they're basically going to go over and they're going to score it based on how good of finishes the top guys do here. So we're going to look at how good the beginning runners, the top runners are for Darien example. Say we have a few guys that are doing really well. Those will improve our record drastically. They'll take some of the top guys and they're going to score them against some of the other top guys from the other teams, and they're just going to finish it out and see how good overall in an overall point system, essentially.
So as you mentioned, a point system, there will be a bunch of separate matches being played today. So Darien will play a match against West Hill, a match against Wilton, and a match against Bridgeport, I believe. Not sure if that one's going to count for the FCX standings, considering Bridgeport not technically in the FCX for cross country. But at the end of the day, Darien, both boys and girls cross country, will get a win. Or they could get a win, a loss, or go 2-0 or 0-2 on the day. Chris, you kind of want to explain to the viewers how the setup's going to be today, schedule, how that's going to look?
Yeah, so they've already had the JV guys going already, but I know Varsity's going to start here in a little bit, but they're going to do a few laps around the course. They're going to finish towards on the JV football field, but they're just basically going to be running around together. I know the boys are going to go before the girls, and then afterwards the girls are going to go, but they're going to be a little staggered. Everyone's going to probably start around the same time with like a signal or something like that, and then they're all just going to go around and they're going to have the finish line and essentially just working just like a typical race. It should be pretty good. We have a lot of good guys here. I know I did this, I did cross country freshman year. A lot of those guys from freshman year are still going. Some of our senior captains. A lot of good guys, and hopefully we should get on top.
This is Darien's first and only home meet on the 2021 season. Last year, Chris, I believe you said they hosted 3 matches and went 3-0 in those matches. So they do have some home field advantage. I believe the course was built in 2019, we were saying. We'll get to the course a little bit later on. And it looks like the boys are just about getting ready to start.
I think it'll definitely be nice for us to be home here today. It's definitely more comfortable. Everyone's more familiar with the terrain. I know that being here and being able to practice here is much easier. You get that home field advantage, obviously, and just overall it should be pretty good for us. If you take a bus ride or something, come all the way up here to Darien, it can be a little nerve-wracking or you can be a little tired, but here we're all ready to go. We know our terrain, and hopefully we'll do well, yeah.
So Darien currently 4-2 on the season. They beat Richfield in a match, and they beat McMahon in a match. They also beat St. Joe's and Norwalk in a match, but they fell to Staples and Danbury. As for West Hill, 1-5 on the boys' side, and Wilton 4-2 on the boys' side. We'll talk about the girls once they get ready to start racing. Darien coached by Tyson Kazmarek. Chris, what do you have on Tyson?
I had him my freshman year. Amazing guy, pushes us hard, super nice, everything. I loved him as a coach. I think he pushed us hard. He knew us really well, got to know us. Had definitely a very good personal connection, which I think was really helpful. And he knew and played to our strength, and I think he's a great coach, yeah.
As for the other two teams, West Hill coached by Tyson Kubik, and Wilton coached by Jim Jerwick. Again, as we mentioned, this is our first time on the DAF Media Network streaming Varsity Cross Country, so we're going to have some technical issues here and there, so we just ask that you bear with us as we take this voyage, and hopefully one that DAF Media can do later on down the line, more cross-country broadcasts. Looks like they're making some modifications to the course, getting them tip-top shape.
Yeah, they're essentially just warming up a little bit down there. They're getting ready to go. I know that can be a stressful time for some people, a little bit of nerves, but it's always fun to be with everyone on your team and just definitely a lot of excitement down there for those boys, just getting ready to go.
This match was, or the boys were originally scheduled to start at 4:30, kind of a later start. The JV race started a little late, pushing this back, but there will be varsity cross country nonetheless. You are watching the DAF Media Network, a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Our student production crew today: Harris Cavana, Ben White Shoeless, Adam Nelson, our advisor Damian Andrew, Braden Shank, and Chris Fallon with you, as we are just moments away from the start of this cross-country race. It appears the boys are on the starting line. Any second now they should be starting. And they are underway. Taking a look now, as you mentioned, Chris, they start on the JV football field or Stadium East. We see assistant coach Rashid Sofian on his golf cart leading the pack.
Yeah, as you can see here, they're heading towards softball or the baseball field. I think that start of the race is very important, especially you want to make sure that you're not overdoing it, you're not sprinting too hard. You want to really find your pace. I know, as I said before, a lot of those guys very excited, very nervous, so you can definitely be feeling it a little bit. Try to go too much in the beginning and then get tired towards the end. So you really just got to work your pace and do what you've been doing all your practice days.
Darien in their Darien blue jerseys, Wilton in their navy blue jerseys, and West Hill in the purple jerseys. Bridgeport, I believe we saw them warming up in the red jerseys. And those are your four teams competing today. And as the final group there, these are camera shot. You're now taking a look at a beautiful drone shot of the course. Chris, do you want to talk a little about the course and all of its features?
Yeah, so it just came in a few years ago, but I think it's really nice. I've personally ran it a few times, but it goes through woods, goes through a few fields, but it's definitely very nice to have compared to what we had before. Before this course came in, we were running a lot on the streets around Darien. We were running on the track a little bit, but it's very nice, especially to have this track because you just feel super comfortable on it. You can get to know it. I know these guys have been running it for a while now, and doing this race now, it's definitely helping to do this. But yeah, you cut through some trees. You go around the football field, and they have a little pavement area, so you know exactly where you're going, which is nice. Wouldn't get lost anywhere. But yeah, should be a good race.
This drone shot was taken by Connor Fagan, doing a great job on this video as you're taking a look at the beautiful cross-country trail here on the campus of Darien High School.
Yeah, as you can see on here, you're going around the oval here, passing by some cars, but this is one of the spots where it's really nice to run and just relax. You can watch some stuff going around you. But yeah, it was a very nice course. I like the way they did it. Didn't take too long actually to make it, which was nice, and people have been able to go on it for a while. Not just cross country people. I know families can go on it, anyone around. So it's just a fun place to run, cross some streets and stuff like that too, and then enter some woods.
It really has it all. The boys will be racing a 4,800-meter race. The girls a 2.56-mile race. So, Chris, I believe that's just a little bit over 2 laps on the track.
Yep.
And it truly goes the entire area, or the entire perimeter, I should say, of the Darien High School campus.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. You can see different parts of the high school, see what's around it and stuff like that. You know, you're crossing by football fields, baseball fields, going by the streets, the big oval that we have, and just going through woods. I think it's a very diverse course, and I think it's really cool the way Darien set it up and the way that we've been able to go all around the high school.
Darien, a cross-country program that's had some success in the recent years, taking 4 all-time state championships, their most recent in 2013. They also, last year, in the pandemic year 2020, were the regular season and tournament champions for the FCAC West. This is a young team for Darien. And Chris, what do you think the Blue Wave should be expecting not only this year but in future years?
You know, I think we definitely have a really good foundation. I know it's going to be sad to see some of these seniors go, senior captains. I know Evan O'Rourke, Kyle Bloomer, Luke Riordan. But yeah, we've had a really good program so far. I think our coaching's been great. I know they push us freshman year. They make us work hard, especially running even outside. I know a lot about Darien and how they work it. They try to make it so that it's not just us practicing here. It's us really working with ourselves at home and practicing at home and stuff like that. I know the COVID year we weren't able to practice as much with our coaches and stuff like that. So really became on the kids to put in the work and just get everything going on their own and show how much they really wanted to do well. And it's paid off recently. I know we've had some success here, as you said, and hopefully it can be a good program. I know that we work hard and we've had a lot of success, and hopefully we can win another division this year.
You're now taking a look at the angle just beyond the varsity football field. This is kind of that last hook before they go right back around the JV football field where they started. This race should take somewhere between 17-20 minutes for the first couple guys coming in, as we're still waiting for the grouping to come back in. Once again, this is our first time streaming cross country on the DAF Media Network, so that is why we lost the runners for a stretch, but we will be picking them back up here shortly. And here comes the leader of the pack. Looks like Nicky Yu, a junior for Darien, and he's followed by a couple more Darien guys. Evan O'Rourke stood out. West Hill having a guy up there. And the next kind of chunk, led by Ryan Jones, it looks like.
Yeah, I see Ryan Jones, Luke Riordan, a bunch of good guys here. It should be a good finish. I know they're lapping around here. They're probably going to go for another lap, but it should be interesting to see how well they do and if they keep up the standings.
Darien's Jack Walsh now coming down that hill, followed by Jason Rideout. Grouping of Wilton and West Hill runners. And now we're moving towards the back of the group. Once again, there is Nicky Yu, the leader currently. Does have a couple guys on his tail
Yeah, you can see Evan O'Rourke there, senior captain. He was running around. Right around here, they're passing by the varsity baseball field, so they're making their way past, and they're doing a good job, it seems like. A lot of Darien up front, which is nice, and hopefully we can keep this up towards the end of the race, too.
This is now the stretch that they are running around the varsity baseball field, moving around the visitors' dugout. And they'll kind of run up towards left field and veer off towards the oval. Towards the middle of the pack. Once again, this grouping kind of led by Jack Walsh of Darien, followed by a committee of Wilton runners. As you're seeing now, runners actually went up to left field and turned into the baseball field, cutting across the diamond, exiting towards the right field gate. Chris, are they coming down the final stretch here, final moments?
Yeah, they're looking good here. Definitely a lot of Darien up front, which I like. We're running well. I see a lot of Wilton too. I know Wilton may be one of our top competitors today, but yeah, we're running well. I saw Evan up front, Nikki, and they've been doing a good job for us in Darien. I know Evan's one of our senior captains alongside Luke and Kyle. I've seen Kyle out here running a few times early this summer. He's been putting in the work, which is nice. But yeah, we have a good program and a good group of senior captains, so they've been pushing us well and leading us really well, and it should be a good rest of the season.
So the runners have now made their way back to that JV baseball or JV football field. And they're now going to do another lap around Stadium East. Once again, their total distance today going to come up close to 4,800 meters for the boys, and for the girls, a little over 2.5 miles. The last update we had, Nick Yu was currently leading the race. We're going to try to pick them back up, as now they're making their way back over to that varsity baseball field. As they have one more lap left. Once again, this is a home boys and girls cross country meet, so the boys are going right now. The girls will be following them shortly after. DAF Media will be streaming that girls race here soon. for Darien last year, 5-0. No state tournament, of course. The last time they did have a state tournament back in 2019. Darien finishing in 12th on the boys' side. Chris, how important do you think it is for the runners knowing that they have a state tournament down the line, something that they can look forward to?
You know, I think it's huge. I think it's something they can definitely work for. If they're losing motivation, they can just think about that opportunity. You know, something that the seniors didn't have last year. I know a lot of them were great runners from last year, and they weren't able to do it. So I know it's definitely going to be extra motivation for our senior class this year and some of the younger guys too. But I know a lot of the seniors, they've been running for a while, and this is maybe some of their last opportunities to run in competitive races. So they're definitely going to be trying to push themselves, push the group, and just get everything going so that they can make a good run in the state title.
As for the other two squads, West Hill and Wilton, West Hill coming off a 3-2 modified season last year. Wilton also 3-2. That 2019 season, Wilton coming in 9th in the Class L meet, and West Hill 15th in the Class L meet. Cross country, one of the rare sports in Darien, playing in the Class L grouping, not the highest Class L. Based off of population within a gender in the school. Darien not in that top grouping, but they do still meet Wilton in that state meet. Once again, the runners are now making their way to that woods area of the course. We unfortunately cannot bring you the runners there. This is our first time streaming cross country on the DAF Media Network. Hopefully this is the foundation to streaming cross country on the DAF Media Network, something that down the line we can do more of. And here they come. And now looks like Wilton has a runner in the lead.
Yeah, I think I see Evan O'Rourke coming around too. So it's interesting to see. I went where the other guys went, but they're coming around here. They're taking their final lap, and it should be a good finish. It's definitely more paced out as the race goes on. You know, at the start everyone's clumped up, but it's interesting to see how the paces work and how everything really starts to change up a little bit. You can see Nicky coming around now too. I think that's followed by Luke.
Nicky was the leader. He was overtaken by a Wilton runner. We don't know who the runner is. Malcolm McCormick of Wilton has been the top Wilton placer in their past two meets, so it's a possibility it could be McCormick or it could be another Wilton racer, but it looks like the golf cart has made its way on to Stadium East, and the runners will be coming down their final stretch. The Wilton runner is in the lead, making his way to about the 50-yard line. And Wilton will win the boys cross country. They have the top placer. Once again, we will work to get that name for you. A possibility could be Malcolm McCormick, their top placer in the last two meets. He is shortly there, followed by Piers Evan O'Rourke of Darien, coming in second. He's then followed by another Wilton runner. And there's Nick Yu making his finish, fourth place. So far, no West Hill finishes.
Yeah, it's been a lot of Wilton, a lot of Darien. It'll be interesting to see how it ties up. You know, Wilton did take that top spot, but Darien, if they have a lot of guys coming in around the later finishes, then it could do well for them.
Once again, it is a points system, so just having the top runner will not guarantee a team win in the head-to-head record. The runners still making their way past the far end zone of the Varsity football team, turning on to the JV football team into the finish line. As some runners still on the track. Once again, this is a tri-meet between Darien, West Hill, and Wilton. Chris, we did mention Bridgeport. They were here. I did not see any of their runners in this varsity uh, race, so it's very well possible they might have just sent people for the novice or for the girls' side.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened here for Varsity, but yeah, they definitely could have moved over. Maybe numbers thing. Not sure yet. We can find out about that.
Bridgeport only rostered 5 players on the basic roster, which most likely serving as a whole Bridgeport co-op team with their 3 high schools, as the runners are now finishing. Still some left, making their way towards the baseball part of Stadium East.
Yeah, as you can see, a big group of Darien guys coming in here too. A few Wilton, so it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up standings-wise. I know Wilton did take the top spot, but if we have some Darien guys coming up soon, they could actually take this over and take a win here.
Now here comes the final sprint for the final runners, making their way down the full length of the JV football field, as the final guys now making their way to the finish line.
Yeah, as you can see here, a lot of Darien guys coming in here. This is going to be a good finish for them. Hopefully they can push through it. I know the finishes are super tough, but it's also very relieving once you get it done. So hopefully they can just push through it here and hopefully get us a good spot on the board.
Do you think the racers saved their final energy for that final sprint down the JV football field?
Yeah, I think they do. I think that's a pretty important part of the race. I know especially with some of your coaches watching, some of the other people on the team, you definitely want to push it that last bit. So I think they really gave everything they got, and hopefully that can help out here. Maybe give us a point or two or move us up a spot in the rankings. So hopefully, yeah, they just push through it here and we get a good spot.
And it looks like the final part of the race coming in. Couple last Wilton guys making their way to the finish line. All 3 of these teams have 2 meets left on the schedule, so that's a total of 6 matchups still left to play. Darien, their next match is they are going to Greenwich Point to play Greenwich, Fairfield Ward, and New Canaan. They are followed that by a trip at the Manhattan Invitational at Cortland Park, finally closing out their season at Ludlow's Taft Field against the Fairfield Ludlow Falcons, Stamford, and Trumbull. As I believe those were the final guys now making their way up to the finish line. Once again, coming up that far end zone of the football field, making it to Stadium East and running the full length of that football field. And this is the official final guy making his way to the finish line. The back golf cart now making its way to the finish line. So the boys cross country race is... Oh, there's actually one guy left. There's just guys that continue to pop up.
Yeah, I think that's a member from Wilton coming around the track here, so should get a good applause here when he comes around. It's always fun when that last guy comes around and hopefully just finishes and pushes through.
As you mentioned, that last guy coming through. The girls are now making their way to the starting line. They will be up next. We believe those same three schools, Darien, West Hill, and Wilton, will be sending runners on the girls' side. Once again, Bridgeport is here to some magnitude. They were not listed on the schedule, so it's possible they are just racing the JV races. But we are concluding this boys' race. Looking ahead for West Hill, they have 2 more meets left. They will go to St. Joseph's High School to play St. Joseph's, Staples, and Trumbull, followed by a final trip to Waveney Park in New Canaan to face the New Canaan Rams, the Brian McMahon Senators, and the Norwalk Bears. And then finally for Wilton, their final 2 meets, a home meet at Allen's Meadow, where they will host the Ludlow Falcons, Norwalk, and Richfield. And then they also have to go to Greenwich Point to play Danbury, Greenwich, and St. Joe's. So this boys cross country race is wrapping up. We will get you those final 3 names, or those top 3 names, I should say. We're going to take a quick break on the DAF Media Network. Once again, the girls cross country race coming right up after the break.
This broadcast is produced by DAF Media, a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. The production is staffed by student and adult volunteers from the town of Darien and southwestern Connecticut.
and we welcome you back to the DAF Media Network as the girls cross country race has just begun. Once again, the golf cart driven by Rashid Sofian leading the pack, and it looks like Darien and a West Hill runner leading the way. Once again, Darien in that royal blue, Wilton in the dark blue, and West Hill in the purple. And this is the girls cross country. Unlike the boys went around the backstop, past both dugouts. The girls just go straight through the outfield. Once again, the boys race did wrap up about 5 minutes ago. We will work to get you those names, who those top 3 finishes are. These are now the girls. And Chris, what do you have on the girls team?
Yeah, I think they're a pretty good group of girls. They're good runners, kind of just like our boys team. They each placed pretty well. I know they had a good season last year, just like the boys, and hopefully they can show it here in this race. You know, it should be a good one. I know Wilton's a good team too, as you could see from the boys race. They had the top guy, and hopefully they can just do well here and give us a win.
As you mentioned, the Wilton Warriors. Girls cross country a little bit better than their boys team. Almost a powerhouse in the FCX, taking home 9 FCX titles and 11 state titles for Wilton High School. Just on the girls cross country side, their most recent FCX win coming in 2010, most recent state tournament in 2013. Same thing as the boys, Darien and Wilton in Class L, West Hill in Class LL. But these are now the girls. And Darien coached by longtime head coach Steve Norris. Chris, you got anything on Steve?
Yeah, you know, I saw him down there. Great guy. He was pushing his group, trying to get them ready for the race. But yeah, he's been a good coach for a while now, and he's been pushing them hard. And similar to Tyson, he's just been a great coach for us. And it should be interesting to see how our season goes.
As for West Hill, they are coached by their same boys staff, Tyson Kubik and Pat White. As for Wilton, Jeff G. and Frank Dom, their their coaches. Chris, another thing we haven't really mentioned, Darien offering 3 track and field seasons almost, cross country in the fall, indoor track in the winter, and outdoor track and field in the spring. How do you think the athletes can kind of prepare with those 3 options?
You know, I think it's really nice because they can run for a large part of the year. I know if you're just running cross country and then going to other sports, it can be kind of difficult. But I know a lot of guys who do cross country and then also go into winter track and spring track. So it's definitely nice to keep their legs going all throughout the season and work on their times and do other stuff. And it's just it's a really good way for them to just keep on running and keep on getting better. And hopefully that shows. I know we've been running for a while now. We've been running well, and hopefully our teams can just push through and have another good season this year.
When you talk about indoor track and field facilities, Wilton High School having one of the top in the entire FCX, their main gym, just a great complex. Once again, this is our first time streaming cross country in the DAF Media Network, so we currently do not have the group as they are going through the woods beyond the oval field and beyond the tennis courts. As once again, you're taking a look at the overview. They start on that JV football field, make their way over to the baseball field, and then over to the oval fields and up into the woods.
You know, the girls are running a little different course than the boys here and how they did in the first race, so it should be interesting. Should be a little shorter, but a little bit of a different route, but same general theme where they're going to be going around the field a little bit. They're going to finish around the same spot that they started. They're going to be going through that that long finish line, going across the boys, where the boys did it on the JV football field, and should be interesting to see how it finishes up. You know, hopefully we can get some girls in the lead and we can maybe take home another win.
Darien currently 3-3 on the girls' seasons. They have wins over Norwalk, McMahon, and St. Joe's. Their losses coming to Staples, Danbury, and Richfield. As for West Hill, they are 1-4, and Wilton at 4-2. And just like the boys, all these teams still have 2 meets left. The exact same 2 meets and opponents as the boys and girls cross country, traveling to the same locations, playing the same teams. So they're kind of at the halfway mark with this meet. Still 6 matches left to go before the FCX and state meets. So you're taking a look right now at the course through the woods. This is right now where the runners are at, and we do not have a camera in there or limited connectivity. But this is where the runners are running through right now. Just a beautiful landscape. This is the girls cross-country race. The boys finished up now about 10 minutes ago. A Wilton runner took first place. Darien's Evan O'Rourke came in second, and a Wilton runner came in third. Still working to get you those names. Once again, these races should take roughly around 20 minutes from start to finish. As the girls started shortly ago. Chris, as we work to get those boys' names, kind of a big storyline. Nick Yu leading the pack for a majority of that boys' race, kind of fell off coming in the top 10. What do you think happened to Nick Yu out there?
Well, could definitely be a variety of things. I'm not completely sure, but could have definitely had a maybe too strong a start. Maybe he was pushing himself a little bit. Really wanted to get that top spot, and I think that pacing is it's key in cross country and in track and other sports like that too. But maybe he went a little too hard in the beginning, and then started to feel a little bit towards the end, and kind of slowed down his pace a little bit, and then Evan kind of took over. But both of them really good runners. I know that having them in the top is it's been really good for us here at Darien, and I don't know, not completely sure, but I know he's been running well. I know Evan's been running well for a while now, all his years here, and he's been a great captain. So hopefully it's good enough to give us a win here.
So the girls are now coming into that stretch. Wilton with the leader, West Hill shortly behind them at second, and then kind of a gap between the majority gap, Darien in third place with this runner right here. And then a pack of Wilton runners. This is the girls' first lap of the 2.5 mile run that they will be completing in this meet.
As you can see here by the group of Wilton girls, they've been a really good running team for a while now. As we mentioned, they had a lot of state titles and FCF titles, and yeah, they've been doing really well. I saw a Darien runner in there too, but a lot of Wilton, even in the guys, they had a lot of good runners, so they've been really good today.
Wilton just been a dominant program every year. 2019, the last state tournament, Wilton coming in third place, Darien right behind them at fourth place. Same thing in 2018, Wilton in fourth place, Darien in fifth place in that Class L meet. So Darien and Wilton, two of the bigger teams in Class L cross country, as now the girls are making their way beyond the concrete, behind the home dugout on the varsity baseball field. The boys ran on that concrete, came around the backstop. The girls going to that gravel path. Now it looks like the majority of the girls making their way to that starting point. About to begin the back half of this race. Once again, your top three in this girls race. The Wilton Warriors have the lead runner, West Hill with the second runner, and Darien with the runner in third. We do not have the names of the runners just yet, but we will be working to get those. And we just got the results of the boys race. First place, Michael Burns of Wilton, followed by Evan O'Rourke of Darien, and as we mentioned, Malcolm McCormick, third place for Wilton. This is the first of Wilton's three meets that McCormick is not their top placer. Malcolm Burns, their top guy. And Burns, their number two guy in those two races behind McCormick. So I got to assume he's happy taking down his teammate McCormick and earning that top spot in that boys race.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of good runners for Wilton. I know it's especially nice to have some guys that are really up there. If you have two runners that are each extraordinary runners and they're able to pass each other and work back and forth, and it really goes to show how good they really are. And having that 1-2 punch up there that works well for their team is going to be key. That can help them for the whole season, and even just FCX just having that really good 1-2 punch to give them a lot of points up here and really carry their team.
Yeah, 1-2 punch might even be an understatement. They're a dynamic duo in their first two races. McCormick finishing first place overall and third place in their second meet. Burns second place behind McCormick and fourth place overall. So those two have placed in the top 5 all 3 of their meets so far. And then for Darien, Evan O'Rourke, senior leader on this Darien team, splitting them in second place. Very good position for Evan, as the girls are now making their way once again into that woods area. You can see the back of the group making their way on the camera right now. Once again, Darien coached by longtime head coach Steve Norris. Also coaches them in the indoor and outdoor season. And he's coached the girls to a 3-3 year so far. You are watching the DAF Media Network, a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Our all-student production crew today: Harris Cavana, Riley Galoo, Ben White-Chulis, and Adam Nelson. Our advisor Damian Andrew, Braden Shank, and Chris Fallon with you. So glad you could be with us on this Tuesday afternoon, one of the final weeks in September, as you are watching the girls cross-country race and DAF Media's first ever cross-country live stream. We're waiting for the group to come back around past the track and towards that Stadium East finish line. We've talked a lot about Wilton's success on the girls' side. Looking at Darien, not many trophies to show for their dominance, but they are a consistent team. 2 FCAC titles, taking their last in 1987, and 4 all-time state titles, their most recent coming in 2014. As for West Hill, kind of a program still looking for their footing, only 1 all-time FCAC title in 1988 and no state titles. Wilton are also a team that struggled in recent years. 2019 going 1-12, and 2018 0-13. So they're looking with a potential win here today to put up their highest win total in the past couple of years. And as we mentioned in the open, 3 separate matches will be played today. There will be 1 race on each side, but the scores will be compared. So Darien will have their score compared to West Hill and either get a win or loss. Darien will have their score compared to Wilton, either have a win or loss, and then West Hill and Wilton will do the same thing. And whoever has the better score will be picking up the win. And the golf cart has made its way around the track. The Wilton runner absolutely running away with this race so far. No one contending her. Pretty big margin.
Yeah, it looks like Wilton here has had their top runner in both the boys and the girls race here at Varsity, so I think that's really key for them, just having that 1 spot. It's really good for their points, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of Wilton goes. I know they always have a lot of people up top, but it'll be interesting to see how they are in the middles and towards the bottom, see how how their players turn out.
And Chris, there is no one contending this Wilton runner. She's all the way about to enter Stadium East, and then there's the Darien runner in second place.
Yeah, that one girl, she's really running away with it here. It took so long for to see another face around here, but Darien's coming in the 2 spot. It seems like. Hopefully they can hold on, but it's a good sign for Darien too.
As I noticed as the runner comes through, the top West Hill runner, who is currently in second place for a majority of the race, falling now to what appears to be 4th place. Once again, Wilton so far running away as they will make the final turn on the Stadium East, as the girls will be coming near the finish line. Just an absolutely landslide from this Wilton runner. As she's made her way to about the 50-yard line. Coming down the stretch to the 40, to the 30. And she will cross the finish line. Wilton will have the top place runner in the boys and girls, as the Darien runner in second place still has not even entered Stadium East. So a great outing for the Wilton Warriors on this Tuesday afternoon. And here comes the second place runner. And she will make her final sprint. Followed by a Wilton runner now really hustling down, and I don't think she will catch the Darien runner. And Darien will place second, followed by Wilton coming in third. So the same results as the boys race. Wilton with the first and third, Darien with the middle second runner. As now here comes a couple more finishes. West Hill, their top runner, in 4th place. Followed by another Wilton. So far, besides that one Darien and one West Hill runner, it's been all Wilton. And another 2 more Wiltons. Make it 3 more Wiltons.
Yeah, Wilton really just showing their dominance here. They did well in the boys' meet, and they're doing very well here too. They've definitely run their program very well, and they've had a lot of people up in the top here today, so it really reflects that. Just running some good races.
Once again, this is their final lap around that kind of downhill, and then on to Stadium East, down the football field, making their way all 100 yards, even more, through the end zones, as that appears to be another Wilton runner. That's a West Hill one right there. So Darien, only one runner to finish so far. And once again, we will work to get you those names. That looked like another Darien. And final racers making their way in. Actually, I should say the middle of the pack still making their way in. As Wilton had the first place runner in both the boys and girls races. As now here comes a couple Darien runners. do have the names in. First place for Wilton, Emily Murakovic. In second place, Avery Johnson for Darien. And third place, Sasha Langholm of the Wilton Warriors. So once again, Wilton's Emily Murakovic, the winner. Johnson in second place for Darien. And Langholm, third place for Wilton. Great finish for Emily for Wilton. This is her second race in a row where she has been the first place, and just an absolute landslide out there today. Chris, what did you see in the girls' race?
I thought Wilton really dominated today. I thought they had a lot of good runners up front. I know Darien, they've had a few up top, which is nice. I know Avery did well coming in second place, but a lot of Wilton here today. They really carried the top spots, especially in the girls' team. You saw they had their first place as Wilton, and they had a lot of other people up there. So it'll be interesting to see if they don't come away with the win today, but I think they ran really well. I think Darien also ran really well. We had a lot of people in the middle. We had a few up top, and I think it was a pretty solid meet all around, even for all teams.
And in third place, Sasha Langholm for Wilton. This is her third race in a row where she has been the first or second top racer for Wilton. First race of the year, she was their top placer, and in the last two, she has been second for the Wilton Warriors, and today a third overall placement. We're waiting for the final runners to cross the finish line in this cross-country meet. And once again, team scores will be looked at for the win-losses. And a couple last runners making their way in. So we also did just get word going back on that boys race. Darien, the winner on points. So they will beat West Hill in their match, and they will beat Wilton in their match. So they will move their season record up to 6-2. The Vikings will drop to 1-6, and Wilton to 4-3. There is that other match, West Hill and Wilton. We will work to see who won that match. But Darien, the winner on the boys' side, improving their record to 6-2 on the season. Once again, the winners of those race, Michael Burns, the junior from Wilton, Evan O'Rourke, the senior from Darien, and Malcolm McCormick, the senior from Wilton, were those top three placers. As the girls' race wrapping up now, don't believe there's any last runners still running. I said that last time, and of course there were a couple that came around.
Yeah, I think Darien's really had a strong race today. I know, obviously, they won, so it was good for them. But they had a lot of people up top. They had a lot of good runners. Evan, Nikki up there. So I think it was a great race, and it'll be interesting to see how the girls did.
Once again, your girls' top three. In first place from Wilton, Emily Murakovic. In second place, Avery Johnson from Darien, and Sasha Langholm from Wilton, sophomore from Wilton, were those top three. And we are going to wait to see who the winner of that girls' meet was. Chris, what did you see overall from both sides in this meet?
I thought there were a lot of strong runners. I know. I was surprised at how many good girls Wilton runners there were. They were really leading up top, just straight up dominating. I thought Darien, I think we ran really well. I think we had some really good performances today, and it'll be interesting to see the details on this and see really how it all turned out. But I know we had a lot of good people up top. Good job by Avery Johnson, Evan O'Rourke, leading in the top three in both girls and boys. So It was a very solid race all around. It'll be interesting to see the details once again.
And here are the final runners now making their way towards the end. A couple last Wilton runners in this tri-meet between Darien, West Hill, and Wilton. You are watching the DAF Media Network, a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Braden Shank and Chris Fallon with you. So glad you could be with us on this Tuesday afternoon. As the boys' race has concluded and been done for about a half hour now, and the girls wrapping up just about now with the last runners making their way to the finish line. And the final girls runners are making their way to the finish line. Might have just finished. We're going to take a short break as we are awaiting the scores from the girls' race. Once again, in the boys' race, Darien was your winning team, taking both matches against West Hill and Wilton. We are waiting for the girls' scores. We will be back.
This broadcast is produced by DAF Media, a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. The production is staffed by student and adult volunteers from the town of Darien and southwestern Connecticut.
sorry for the delay. We are back on the DAF Media Network. We do have those final scores from the girls' race. The Wilton Warriors are the winners of the girls' race, so they will move to 6-2 on the season, beating West Hill and beating Darien. Darien second place, so they will fall to Wilton but beat West Hill, moving to 4-4 on the season, and the West Hill Vikings girls team dropping to 1-6 on the season. Once again, on the boys' side, Darien the winners, moving to 6-2 on the season. Braden Shank and Chris Fallon with you as we're going to wrap up this Tuesday afternoon cross-country meet. Chris, what were your final thoughts of today? How do you think the teams are going to approach today and look forward in advance?
Yeah, I think there were definitely some things to look out for. I know I was personally surprised about how good Wilton's girls team were. They had a lot of great runners. I think Darien showed some really good potential in both their races. They had a lot of good runners. They had a lot of people who ran well, who maybe you wouldn't have thought they would be so far like up in the rankings, I guess you could say. But yeah, we had some good runners. We had some good highlights in the day, and overall, I think it was a great race, especially for our boys team who beat both Wilton and West Hill.
Once again, your top three finishes on the boys' side: Michael Burns of Wilton in first place, Evan O'Rourke of Darien in second, and Malcolm McCormick of Wilton third place. On the girls' side, their winner by just an absolute landslide, Chris, Emily Marakovic, just absolutely destroying the competition. The second place runner, Avery Johnson, little ways after her was Sasha Langholm from Wilton. Your top three there. Once again, Darien the winners on the boys' side, Wilton the winners on the girls' side. That's going to do it for our broadcast of varsity boys and girls cross country. Once again, we've never done this before, our first ever broadcast, so we did have some technical issues, but we do thank you for watching. Our DAF Media production crew, all student volunteers, Ben White-Chulis, Adam Nelson, Riley Galoo, and Harris Cavana. Chris, thank you for coming on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Pleasure calling it. For our entire production crew, I've been Braden Shank. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.